All right, everyone, welcome back to the Arizona Real Estate Housing Market Updates. This episode is April 28, 2025. We're gonna look at some pricing. Surprisingly, we dropped about $20,000 for only 5 weeks. Okay, we're gonna see at the demand trend, the housing demand trend in Maricopa County. Surprisingly, is also slowing down and inventory as well. So all the information will be presented today in this episode. And if you do have any question, feel free to look at the article again on the website magicalsuccessrealty.com. Feel free to look at that as well. Okay. Now, let's look at comfort market index. What is it? Okay. First of all, what is the comfort market index? If you follow my video channel market update, you know that this is a great tool for you and for me to understand how the market looks like at the moment in time. The company do a great job to summarize the market in one number. If that number from 110 and more, that's a seller market. That's the indication of the seller market. If it is from 90 to 110, is a balanced market where both buyers and seller have the same equal negotiation power. If it is less than 90, that's the buyer market. As of right now, we have 78 points for Maricopa County. That is such a solid buyer's market. Okay, I told you it's 90%, 90 points, less than 90 points is the buyer market already. Okay, now we have a 78 points. So what is moving? So we have right here, out of the 17 largest cities in Arizona, 7 is improved for the seller over the past month. Okay, now 10 cities is actually moving favorite to the buyers. All right, it seems like there's a lot moving favor to the buyers, but the 7 number here is very interesting because that is actually the highest number of green dots for the seller since January, meaning that maybe while there is a little hope for the seller in some area. Now, as a matter of fact, right? Because the CMI is 78, we are still in trending in favor for the buyers. Okay, some of the area is still hoping for that for the seller market. So where are those? Where are those cities that have some relief for the seller? And now we're gonna go to here right now. The 3 cities that improving condition for the seller is actually Avondale, Glendale, and Buckeye. Those are the 3 cities that the seller has a little bit easier to breathe. When we talk about easier to breathe, that means the seller has a little bit stronger negotiation power. Okay. In this regard, I have to say a special shout out for Buckeye and Avondale. These 2 cities are leading the way in shifting slightly backwards toward the seller-friendly territory. Okay, but a big one. Okay, before sellers pop the champagne, be happy, right? It's important to realize that those are most of the Glendale can kind of the medium range, right? But Avondale and Buckeye seems to be a lower price market. Okay, so 2 out of the 3 is lower price market. We have some luxury markets that cool even faster. Can you guess what those are? I'm not gonna show up. I was about to ask you like what city to have the improving condition for the seller, but I forget and I show you already. But now let guess. What do you think? Like what luxury market that's cooling faster? Well, I gotta show you a little bit. Tempe, Gilbert, Cave Creek, Scottsdale, and Paradise Valley are seeing much sharper reduction in condition for the seller. Okay. Uh, then the summary is luxury and high price markets definitely cooling off. Okay. Entry level and a more affordable market a little bit more resilient, but not enough to flip over the trend yet. Okay, so obviously, as you follow my videos for the last couple of videos, we talk a lot about a luxury market, right? Definitely the current market, the current economy, the current stock situation doesn't help a lot for the luxury market. So, buyer, I'm sorry. Yeah, and it's therefore it reduce the demand in the luxury market. Meanwhile, some of the buyer are taking advantage of the current buyer's market and therefore slightly increase the price, increase the negotiation power for those area in much more affordable market. Okay, so let's break down how many markets, how many cities is in the seller's market, how many cities in the buyer's market, and how many in the balance. Okay, look at this chart right here. Beautiful chart. Right? I do that on purpose because I want you to guess. Out of 17, we talk about 17 cities. We're gonna look at 17 cities, and can you tell me how many cities do you think that in the seller market? How many cities are in the buyer's market, and how many cities in the buyer's market? Okay, anyone take a guess and give me a comment and tell me exactly what those areas are. Okay, let's look at the number here. 6 cities that is actually in the seller's market. But here's the tricky part, okay? 4 of them is very weak seller market. Okay, hang in there. It's almost to the balanced market already, right? 5 of them is actually in the balanced market, and 6 is in the buyer's market. That's the reason why you see is almost an equal share between the 3 types of the market, right? 666. If we have 18 cities, that would be 666 already. Okay, so this number, the number of the true sellers market is actually sinking very fast. As I told you, there's 4 of them, even though they are still in the seller market, they're very close. They're shifting to the balance market already. Okay, so if you are thinking about selling a house in 2025, is you have to realize that this is the much tougher playing field than we've seen in a while. Because in the previous several years, since even COVID, right? Even way before that, the seller has such an upper hand advantage because the supply level is so low and the mortgage rate is still high. I'm sorry, low at back then, right? A lot of new demand on the market still. Okay, but now the balance has shifted, and obviously you see a lot of other cities in the buyers and balance market right now. What about price? I think a lot of you are waiting for the price trend, okay? Because that is such. Oh, before that, let's go through the 6 cities that in the seller's market. We're talking about Avondale, Glendale, Buckeye, Phoenix, Mesa, and Chandler. So there's a representative of each area. We have West, we have East, we have the Central Phoenix right there. So as I told you, there's 4 and there's 3 that is very, very weak is Phoenix, Mesa, and Chandler. Okay. What about buyer's market? First, let's do balance market. Okay. Peoria, Surprise, Queen Creek, Goodyear, and Maricopa. Those are the area that both the buyers and the seller has almost the same negotiation power. All right. And it depends on the situation where the buyer is going to have a better upper hand. In some situations, some area, they may have a lower end. Okay, so that requires you to understand a specific area, a specific neighborhood training. So if you know in this type of information, I only be able to show you the general big cities area, but even within that city, there's still a lot of different market as well. So if you're interested in a certain neighborhood, a certain zip code, a certain builder, okay, a certain area within the cities, text the word market to 480-480-7948, and I will be able to send you a customized area specific market update so that you're familiar whether it's a balanced market or seller market or buyer market in that neighborhood. Okay. All right. So let's continue going to the buyer market list. Okay. We have Tempe, we have Gilbert, Scottsdale, Craig Creek, Paradise Valley, and Felton Hills. Obviously, you see here all of them pretty much luxury high-end market right there. Right. So we see that the demand in this area is such very low. It's very low right now. Okay. All right. Okay, now we can talk about price. Okay, the price drop is now very clear. Okay, the first thing I want to tell you is that the median home price in Greater Phoenix area now is officially 445,000. Okay, that is that is the reduction of $20,000 in only 5 weeks. Okay, it has dropped from 465 to 445 for only 5 weeks. Okay, the home price is crazily. Okay, so at the November of 2020, let's look at the trend. November 2024, December 2024 is go down, January go down, February go down, March is about the same, and then April go way over that. And given granted we still have 2 days, right, for the month of April, but obviously I don't think it's going to be changing a lot to help for the price, for the median sale price, okay? And it's not just a few outliers pulling the price down. This is the trend of the whole market, because some of you might think, okay, I'm looking at the average and therefore there's some outlier which is very low that make this happen. No, again, I'm looking at the median home price, not the average. Okay, so this is to represent the entire market. Okay, a clear downward trend in home prices has now been established. Okay, and with the hottest months of the year still ahead, typical when buying activity show, slow. Okay, when May or July or August, very slow, and no one want to go buy houses during those months. Okay, we do not expect prices to rebound any quick. So this home price is gonna continue like this. Okay, so some of you may ask the question, what's driving up these changes? What happened to the market nowadays? Okay, so we are going to look at some of them driving the market drivers. We're talking about the mortgage. Okay, the good news is the mortgage rate has been dropped. Okay, the inventory growth, crazily amount of housing available market right now that cannot be sold. Okay, so inventory available homes for sale on the market very much. The buyer demand also reduced, price reduction. Okay, there's some motivation right there for the homeowners, but I'm sorry, so for the home buyers. Okay, days on market is actually very long as well. So let's look at the supply and the demand. Okay, we know that the supply is still growing. Okay, the seller are listing homes and the inventory is building up because they cannot be sold. Okay, even when normally it should be tightening this time of the year. Normally, this is the best time for the inventory to go out to be sold, but this is not the case. Okay, demand is very weak, holding steady, but it's very weak because the price is. Some people are afraid the price is going to continue to drop, and then put on hold on making the move. Okay, and waiting. But I think that is not a good strategy because, in my opinion, if you think the home price continue to go down, just put in an offer, put in a number that you think is going to drop to. Because obviously there's going to be the bottom, right? So talk to your agents, discuss with the buyer agent who help you to look at the market and see and find out what could be potentially the bottom, what could be the potentially the good price to offer rather than waiting. I mean, that's that if it goes down, that's great. You get it, right? Again, you have the same situation. You don't know whether it's continue going down. But what if it doesn't go down? What if it goes up? Then you lose the opportunity to negotiate right now. Okay, so I think that's going to be a better strategy. But if you being more active and being more informed about the market so that you know exactly what you need to do. All right. So affordability, however, sees some improvement. We know that mortgage rate has been dropped, okay, and home price also dropped faster. So those two factors combined hope, show a hope to the buyer. Okay, so hopefully if these trend continue, I'm thinking the market gonna shift again one more time in 2025. But we'll see. We'll continue watching the market, and obviously, if you are watching the episode every time, every week, you're gonna be very well informed. Okay. Um, all right. So last but not least is I have all the implication for the buyers and the sellers on the market on my website. Feel free to look at those in person. Okay. My thought about those in this. Okay. And here's some of my forecast. With the inventory likely to keep climbing. Okay. There's no, I have to be honest, I don't see a potential that inventory gonna be shrinking very fast. Okay, and the demand is still remaining very low. Expect more price softening throughout the summer months. Okay, because that is that's the slowest time of the year. Unless something major changes, like a big drop in mortgage rate or sudden surge in the demand, we are heading for the buyer's market and continue, and the buyer is going to be much more better negotiation power. Okay, so if you're planning to buy or sell in Arizona, timing and pricing are going to be critical in 2025. Here's my final thought though. If you're thinking about, okay, home prices in 2025 is going to crash, you're not going to see that. Okay, it's definitely pricing market is lower, so it's correcting, not crashing. Okay, the buyer confidence is slowly rebuilt because they have now more negotiation power. In addition, with the mortgage rate has been dropped, right? So it's such a better condition for the buyers right now. Opportunities are opening up. Right? If you are searching for a home, buying a house right now, this is such a great time for you to find deals because you have way more options to choose and you have a better negotiation in hands. All right. Thank you everyone for watching the market. Like I said, if you're interested in receiving a customized area specific market update, text the word markets to 480-480-7948, and then so that you can understand more about that market. Other than that, see you next time. Bye-bye.